Now, back to WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro.
Next up on NHRA Nitro Podcast, it'll be the reigning mellow yellow funny car world champ, J.R. Todd, driver of the DHL Toyota Camry, sitting 7th in the point standings, only 90 points out of the lead, and it can still go in any direction. We're going to talk with J.R. about his championship hopes and the Yellow Fellas and what they're working on over there at Kalitta Motorsports. Kalitta having a really strong go of it with the top fuel cars. Funny cars can get into the mix at any time. It'll be very interesting to hear from JR just seconds from now. Fans of JR, you want to share this one, get them out there before we get to Gateway. But first, the sponsors, the people who make it all possible, like Total Seal, Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology, from nitro cars to stockers to Indy cars to Formula One to NASCAR. Total Seal can custom make the rings, and all that knowledge ends up in rings for your car. Go to TotalSeal.com, all you engine builders out there, whatever you've got, whether it be a motorcycle or whether it be a classic, they make the piston rings. MagicDryUS.com, the official organic absorbent of the NHRA. It's lighter, so it travels easier, but it soaks up more, any viscosity, and it's all natural, meaning it's made out of coconut, so it is organic and it absorbs 560% of its weight, plus they support NHRA in a big way. Go to MagicDryUS.com. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Frank, this guy is a legend, of course, but he has created something called the Dragster Adventure, and I talk about it all the time because I think it is one of the coolest things out there for you as a fan of drag racing to just show up somewhere, and it goes all around the country. They schedule at different locations, so if you're out west, if you're back east, if you're in the middle of the country, there's somewhere relatively close to you that you can just show up and drive and hang with Frank and work with the program. You get a half track and 2 full track passes. You can even set up a race, by the way. Like if you've got a group, you can set up a race and have a real competition amongst yourselves. You got to figure that out with Frank, but it's at FrankHawley.com, the Dragster Adventure. One of the coolest things that we talk about here on WFO Radio. Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com, Marvin Rodak, hot sauces and spice rubs and everything good, roasted fresh per your order. That's my go-to holiday gift. It's my go-to holiday gift. Pound of coffee, hot sauce, spice rub, all together. The person gets it, and they're blown away, and they love it, and it's been working great for me. It would work great for you. Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com. Give Marvin a call, 817-924-6821. All our sponsors, by the way. You got to tell them you heard about it on WFO. Otherwise, like, what's the point? Samtech.edu. Did I just say that? Yeah, I did. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Regardless of how much you know, you can always know more. And Samtech can teach you what you don't know about machining, high-performance engine building, etc. They've got a motorsport EFI program. Go to samtech.edu. Call Brian Massengale. Tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. Yes, we're talking about people that are trying to decide what career to be in, what to do next. If you love racing and you've already figured out that this is where you want to be, then Samtech is a great place to get an education, get accredited, and of course placement is something that they do. They also are approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. Go to samtech.edu. Big thanks to our sponsors, plus Drag Racing Edge Magazine and EV3 Drag Racing. I really appreciate those guys as well for cross-promoting the WFO Radio podcast. Now in our 10th year, 10 years of WFO, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. You can find us anywhere, even our free mobile application for iPhone and Android. All right, here he is, the reigning mellow yellow funny car world champion for Kalitta Motorsports, J.R. Todd. J.R., welcome back to WFO. How are you?
Good, Joe. Thanks for having me on again, man.
I'm thrilled to have you on. Here we are in the playoffs again, right? The NHRA countdown. 1 year ago, you guys, the Yellow Fellas, and your team put together a very strong countdown, like historic-wise. Steve-O is over there being perfect, so that kind of like set a new bar for points over 6 races. But you guys had a really strong go of it as well. We're headed into race 2, semifinal, first race out. I'm interested to hear, where you think your team is in this championship fight. I
think we're in a good position. I mean, we're further back in the countdown than we were when it started, but there's still a lot of racing left, and we just need to continue to go to those later rounds. More than anything, we just got to build up our consistency. We've been struggling a little bit in qualifying, put together a string of runs. So that's something that we're going to have to work on. But going into St. Louis this weekend, the weather forecast is going to be hot. So that late run on Friday is going to be the pivotal run for qualifying. And then it's just a matter of going down the track on Saturday and getting some good data for Sunday. But we're going to have to win, no doubt about it. I mean, whoever's going to win the championship, I think is going to have to win multiple races. And I don't feel like it's going to come down to, 2 cars there towards the end of the season like last year. I mean, there's 4 or 5 cars right now that are really strong contenders for the championship. And I feel like our DHL Toyota Camry can be one of them. We just need to get hot. And like I said, I feel like we're definitely going in the right direction. And, I'm excited after, what we did in Reading. Of course, we got out there and win the race, but going to the late rounds is what it's all about also, because it only takes one of those guys at the top to falter early, and then you got to capitalize on that. So anything can happen with 5 races left.
The semifinal round is a round that I feel like if you can get to the semis, you're doing well. It's not a bad race, right? It maybe is not a great race, which would be win runner up, but if you go to the semis, you're not hurting yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because, before Reading started, Richie Crampton and I were talking about, and he said his number one goal was to not lose first round. Like, man, if you just go to the semis at, majority of these races, you're doing yourself some good and putting yourself in good position. And I feel like he definitely capitalized on that, what I said, and went out there and won the race. But, no, like I said, we're in a good spot. We just need to pick away at those points. And, there was a point last year in the countdown, later in the countdown, we were either 50 or 70 behind Robert, and we were able to make up that ground. So it's definitely far from over.
Well, exactly. And that's it's amazing that this 6-race stint that we know as the countdown, it's 6 races, right? We could pick any 6 over the course of the season, but this is it's a journey, right? Like every round is magnified, and you're talking about Q2 Friday night in St. Louis and how significant it is. Well, you want to be at the back of the field, so you better get down Q1. Every run down the racetrack is meaningful in this championship.
Yeah, absolutely. From the time you roll in the gate, it's you can tell that everybody's kind of feeling the pressure. Like you said, every run counts, and you got to be on your game from the time you roll up there to Q1. And like you said, make a good run, hopefully, to set yourself up for Q2 so you're not tiptoeing just to get down the track, because, like I said, that's probably going to be the pivotal run with the track temperature and the air temperature being up there like it's going to be. So I got all the faith in the world in Todd Smith and John O and the Yellow Fellas. I mean, they know how to rise to the occasion, and these next 5 races, I believe that car's won at every one of those races. So it gives you confidence as a driver rolling into those races, and I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be fun. And another thing, I mean, just outside the funny part fast, like I'm excited to watch what's going on in Top Fuel with my two teammates.
Well, I am too. And, Doug, I'm glad you brought that up, because you're in the middle of it, right? Like, you get to be around it. You won a championship last year, so I don't feel like you're trying to prove yourself anymore. Of course, you want to win 2 championships. You want to win more races. But J.R. Todd is now a champion driver, and so you can take a little time to enjoy what's going on around you. At least that's my observation of what I think you should be doing, right? And Doug Kalitta wins the U.S. Nationals. And then the next week goes to the final round, and Richie wins. Like, it's a good time to be at Kalitta Motorsports.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Connie, he was extremely pumped up after that final round. I mean, he was even happy with our semifinal finish. So when that guy's smiling and telling you that, yeah, you did a good job, it's what it's all about. And yeah, like I said, I'm a fan of watching my 2 teammates duke it out there in Top Fuel. They definitely put themselves in contention to win a championship. And Dougie's in a driver's seat at this point. Just kind of got to maintain what you've done the last few races and go those later rounds. And I'm hoping one of those guys can pull it off. And it'd be awesome if they were to finish 1-2, and we can add our hat to that ring and put ourselves up there, right at the top with them. But yeah, I mean, I'm just a fan in general of drag racing. When I'm not inside the car, I like to be up there watching everybody get on the track. And it stinks when you watch it on Sunday, though. I want to be the one that everybody's watching there later on the day on Sunday.
Now, I appreciate you saying that you're watching the Top Fuel guys. I feel very interested in that. Earlier this week we spoke with Steve Torrance, and, they lost the huge points lead, the countdown. He sounded confident, but this is going to be a fight. Like, both the Nitro ranks, of course, that I love Pro Stock and Pro Stock Motorcycle as well, but the Nitro ranks, it's anybody's race right now.
Absolutely. I mean, early on in Top Fuel, you're thinking, well, wow, Torrance is going to run away with this one again. Then, they drag out Billy's car, and he's winning races. Like, well, shoot, the way it's looking, these guys might finish 1-2. And then you go to Reading and see how things unfold. I mean, that's in my opinion, the way Top Fuel should be. Get everybody bunched up and duking it out, these last 6 races just to see who's the best. And I feel like Funny Car each season gets, more and more competitive, and I think this might be the most competitive year yet for top to bottom. I mean, 1 through 10, all those guys are capable of winning races and battling for that championship for sure.
So they always say, right, like you don't know what you don't know, and once you learn how to win, it's a different experience. So last year you went through the process, and I'm sure it was nerve-wracking, but you won, and you're a champ, and you got Todd Smith, you got Jono, you got everybody over there that helps out. And so you just mentioned you have faith, you have confidence. That's I don't want to say that you didn't have that last year. Of course you did, but you hadn't won. Now you have won. Do you view this whole 6-race countdown differently, feeling that, like I've won this before? Does that give you more confidence knowing that you've outlasted the competition? And is that making you race any differently this year?
I wouldn't say it makes you race any differently. I feel like myself as a driver, I go up there and try to perform the best I can at a high level, but this time of year for sure. And I feel like that's Todd and Jono, they go up there with the mentality that they need to run hard every run. So that's kind of the approach that we take. And I'm not sure that winning last year gives us any different feeling this year, more than that we know we can compete with these guys, but I don't know that we'll be able to, go to 5 out of the 6 final rounds that we did last year and pull off what we did, just because the competition's that much higher. I think that, winning a couple of races this year, I would say should put you in good position as long as you're going to the later rounds. But, who's to say? It could come down to the wire again and Pomona, just between more drivers, and that's exciting for the fans for sure. But as a driver, I want to win the last 5 and get this thing wrapped up as soon as possible, if that's possible.
Right. Well, exactly. And we don't. Everybody says it's going to take this or it's going to take that, but Beckman won last race, and he could go out first round this next race, right? And whoever wins this race could go out first round next race. The competition is so high that you just don't know how it's going to go. It could be the war of attrition, so to speak. That's going to happen one of these years. Maybe this is the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Reading was kind of a crapshoot with qualifying and then the weather changing there for Sunday, and that's the cool thing about going into the countdown. We go to these races where the weather started to change going into the fall, and we're not going to have fall conditions this weekend, but you never know how it's going to be in Charlotte and in Dallas, and just that's where the crew team's got to be able to adapt and fall back on those good notes if they have them, and the drivers just got to stay sharp at all times. And last year I felt like we made so many consecutive runs down the track that it just helped my confidence as a driver, that you feel like that you got a car that's going to go up there and get on the track and probably run towards the top. So just go up there and rip the tree as hard as you can. And I'm hoping that we can get that consistency back to where, I can go up there and just not worry about, hey, if the thing's going to smoke the tires, pedal it, or this and that, and just go up there and start smacking a tree like I know how to.
What did you think of the performances that came out of Maple Grove? I know you want to go fast, right? Like that's priority number one. The whole reason you're doing this. Caps with a 339, Tasca with a 335, Brittany with her world record run. There was a time when the track prep kind of went away for reasons that we all understand. It was less interesting. But then all of a sudden you see these big numbers on the board, and it's like more interesting. And It's interesting. It's coming back now. I don't expect that this weekend, but I would imagine, as a driver, that's what you want to do.
Yes and no. I mean, when you see those big speeds pop up like that, to me, when we're 10 miles an hour behind that, like, it's kind of hard to believe that you're that far behind one competitor. But, Reading is always fast. We know that. And the one lane there has always yielded big speed throughout the last few years for whatever reason. And when those big speeds pop up like that, you know that it's going to get NHRA's attention. And I just hope that we, the teams, don't get penalized because of it, or that the track prep, goes back to what we were going through, beginning of last year and what had to, trying to slow us down when certain conditions don't really call for that. You know what I'm saying? Where St. Louis is going to be hot this weekend, so if anything, we'll probably need more track prep than definitely for sure than what we had in Reading. Put it that way, just because of the temperature and the sun being on it. But yeah, I mean it's cool when you see those big speeds and what have you. But speed doesn't win races, that's for sure. I'll take a good, consistent, quick Nitro funny car than one that's going out there and going almost 340 miles an hour.
Got it. No, I get it, and I agree with you there. Like, I would be very against, not that I get a vote or anything, but I would be very against any kind of wholesale track prep change, rules change, back them down, anything based on a one-off event at Maple Grove in great conditions. That would be a bummer, especially for the countdown. So, a couple weeks ago, Doug wins the U.S. Nationals. And right afterwards, you and he got to go sling a little dirt. I know that's in your wheelhouse. Like, you want to do that or have done that. So take me back to that. He told me, I'll just preface it by saying, he told me that you had the talent, right? Like, I asked him, I was like, it was JR, did he have the talent? And he said, yes, you did. So that's good. What was it like?
That's high praise coming from a dirt tracker. No, it had been in the works for a while through Toyota. When they told me about it, that we were getting a chance to do that after the U.S. Nationals, I was pumped, and especially in a Keith Coons midget, one that the same exact car that Christopher Bell drove the next night. So I was kind of a little nervous about, hey, I don't need to be out there tearing this thing up. And, man, it was a lot of fun. That was my first time in a dirt midget. I mean, anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge dirt track fan. I've played with a lot of the guys on the USAC series, and to be able to climb them on and stand on the gas and turn some laps with Dougie, who's a USAC champ, that was really cool. So if that opportunity would ever come up again, I would be all over that for sure.
Wow, it's cool that you're such a fan, but you had never done it. Right? Like, that means you're like one of these drag racer fans out there that are sitting in the stands watching you do your thing and like wishing like, wow, man, that would be great, but haven't had the opportunity to do that, and now you have. So what was it like? Like, I hear you have to steer with the throttle. Like, I hear, you've got the wheel and you're working it, but really the car turns on the throttle. Can you try to explain what it was like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had, Christopher Bell there kind of coaching me and guiding me along, and I had no problem getting on the throttle going on the straightaways. In fact, before I got to the corner, like, I was banging a rev limiter, so they thought that was pretty funny. Like, man, you don't even need to be on the throttle that hard going on the straightaway. More than anything, you get on the gas harder in the corners than you do going down the straightaway just to keep the tires from spinning. That's kind of what took me a while to figure out was, you got to drive it hard into the corner and, set it up and let it kind of roll over on the right rear and then get back on the gas and keep the thing rotating through the corner. So the rookie in me, the first few laps, drive it in there and turn and then let off the gas. The thing drifts up the track and like, uh-oh, here comes a wall. So thing like you gas back out of it to where like you just got to tell yourself, get it turned and then get back on the gas right away. Like get that thing sideways and it'll, carry you through the corner. But it's just a different feeling having, the rear end step out like that. And you feel like you're going to spin out, but you're far from spinning out. I mean, going back afterwards and talking to Christopher and Keith, those guys are like, hey man, it's really hard to spin one of these things out. So don't be afraid to get on the gas, in the corner. So that was a learning curve. And I feel like by the end of the day that we were running, I was getting the hang of it, and I could see Dougie out there in front of me. So I was leaning on him a little bit, but he was probably just out there, taking it easy, where I'm out there driving too hard and what have you. But it was a lot of fun, and something I'll never forget, getting to make laps at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I mean, there's not many people in the world that can say that they've done that, especially on dirt.
Yes, no, that's great. That's why I think it's so cool. It's a great experience, and I'm glad you went through it as such a fan. Caps has done the dirt late model thing and done some racing, and there's the Chili Bowl and all. If you could work an opportunity, would you want to do something like that?
And people are constantly asking me that, like, hey man, if the opportunity came about with you run Chili Bowl, and especially after going and doing that deal with Keith, like now you're ready for Chili Bowl. But no, it's like, I don't know. If they were to have some kind of celebrity type event at the Chili Bowl like they used to in years past with Caps and Selby and Tony Stewart, guys like that, like I'd be interested in doing something like that, but not when you're out there competing against, of course not at one time, but the Chili Bowl gets almost 300 some cars, and it's a serious event. Like guys like Christopher and Kyle Larson and my buddy Rico Avery, like that's the one event all year I think that they put at the top of their list that they want to win. So I don't want to be the guy that's in their way or causes them to not win an event, like that just because of my lack of talent or lack of experience or something like that. But when it comes to just walk-off deals or out there with a few guys messing around, like I'm all over that.
There you go. You know what? That's respect right there, JR, is what that is. And that's good. That's a great answer. Like, hey, man, these guys are pros, and I'm not, and so I'm going to stay out of their way.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
Now, we see drag racers always get the opportunity to go do stuff and turn left and right and dirt and always say yes, right? They always do it. How come none of these round track guys ever want to take a ride in a nitro car? Like, they always are scared.
I kind of felt bad about, this was supposed to be a ride swap between Toyota, so Christopher's already warmed up my car, which he did, I think, 2 years ago in Charlotte. Jono hit the throttle for him and this and that, so it kind of got his attention. But, once I got in his car, I was like, hey, man, like, this isn't fair, like, this is way better than warming up your car. Like, I should at least get to make a run in your car. I'm like, yeah, I'm all about that. Like, you're talking to the wrong guy. I feel like be able to at least do a burnout in my car, hit the gas and go up 100 feet just to see what it's all about. So hopefully when the time comes that we can get some of those guys out to a test session or what have you and strap them in and just let them feel what it's really all about. I think we'll give them a new perspective and, respect for what we do.
Totally agree. Yeah, that's the problem with it being so expensive to make one run in these cars is that you can't really set it up for other people, and then they can't tell the story and get interested. That's one of our challenges. We got to work on that. JR, good luck in the countdown. Thank you for coming on WFO. Is there anything you've got coming up in the next couple of weeks or so that you want our people to know about, show up to, check out, or otherwise that you got going with your team or DHL or anything?
I would just say for those that are leery about the countdown or haven't been to the event, make sure you come out. I mean, this is our biggest time of year. I mean, this is when all the chips are on the line and everybody's gunning up to win that championship. You can just tell it's a different mood throughout the pit area. Everybody's not so friendly this time of year, but I try to stay the same all throughout the year. Just treat it like it's another race, but it's not. So and now I just come out and support NHRA Mellow Yellow drag racing because we definitely need it, and we love seeing the fans pack the house at these events. And I'm expecting a good crowd there this weekend in St. Louis because Chris Blair, he does a great job promoting these events, and hopefully the last five are a huge crowds because that's what our sport needs.
Totally agree 100%. JR, you've done a great job as champ. Just want to tell you that, you've handled it well. Who knows what the future holds over these next 5 races. You're going to try your best. That's what matters most. You got a great team, and I appreciate you coming on WFO to tell us all about it.
And thanks a lot, Joe. Hopefully I get to talk to you a few more times this year talking about some wins.
There you go. Well, you guys are in control of your own destiny. Good luck. JR, thank you.
Thank you.
J.R. Todd with us here on WFO Radio. So we had both champs this week. That is great. We had Steve Torrance. We had J.R. Todd. Click subscribe, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Get the WFO Radio mobile app. You can find all our stuff on social media, WFO Radio, Twitter, Instagram, I'm WFO Joe, and of course, Facebook, right? We're WFO Radio NHRA NASCAR Motorsports Podcast. Long name, but tells you exactly what we are. I love the fact that JR is also a fan and interested in what's going on in Top Fuel, say. I also have great respect for, he wants to stay out of the way of like the real dirt racers. He'll go mess around, but going out to a big event where they're really competing and it's really intense, he's going to just watch and hang out. Like, I like both of those attitudes, and I see a lot of myself. Like, that's how I would be if I had that kind of, opportunity or talent. Be like, I'll stay over here and enjoy it. Because those guys are out for blood. Maybe not exactly out for blood, but they're very serious about it, as is JR and his team. And every week we go by the DHL Toyota Camry pit area, and I point out to all the people on the Mellow Yellow Walking Tour, like, hey, guys, this is the champ in Funny Car. This is one of the teams to watch. Pay attention to this team. Simple as that. That is the point of our walking tour, to give a little basic knowledge to the folks out there, and it's going to be interesting to see. I know they're going to get a win. They're going to get in the mix. It's just a matter of when and where and who does what on that given weekend. You can make a big move, or you can make a little move, depending on where the chips fall with the other competitors. That's why it is interesting. All right, we're going to have more on WFO Radio NHRA Nitro this week. The Ignition Show going to be midweek. You're going to hear Austin Prock from John Force Racing talk about his season, trying to win the Auto Club Road to the Future Award. He's got a win already. He's running very well. Maybe he wants more than that. Maybe he is out for the Mellow Yellow Top Fuel World Championship. If you didn't hear Steve Torrance, Steve-O was great. High confidence, all great. Go back into the archive and check it out. Big thanks to our sponsors, Total Seal, piston rings for any application, high performance, IndyCar, NASCAR, Top Fuel, Stock Eliminator. Total Seal has got the rings. They've also got the tools to do it with as well, all made in America. Also, MagicDryUS.com, the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Do the Dragster Adventure, right? There's something. You won't be anybody's way. It'll be all about you. FrankHawley.com and Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com. Marvin Rodax, hot sauces and spice rubs, everything good. Plus samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Be sure to listen to Factory Stock Podcast. Factory Stock back this week. We broke down the 2020 schedule, looking great. And I am super excited for samtech.edu Factory Stock Showdown, where Chris Vang, who is a car chief, crew chief on Dave Kramer's Factory Stock Camaro, was our guest on the podcast, and he talked about working at Madcap Racing Engines and then going to Samtech and opening up a whole new world of knowledge for himself. Amazing stuff. Samtech.edu. Start your education at full speed. Plus Drag Racing Edge Magazine and EV3 Drag Racing stepping up to support WFO Radio. Big thanks to all you listeners out there. Hey, remember, you can get your WFO Radio t-shirt at the Nitro Fish trailer at the NHRA National events. If you're going to the event, get your WFO Radio t-shirt and wear it on Saturday is t-shirt day. If you want to get it right now, go to nitrofishracing.com and you can get it online and then be ready for the AAA Texas Fall Nationals or for Charlotte or for Vegas, baby, wherever you happen to be. Remember, Saturday at NHRA National Events is WFO t-shirt day. All right, everybody, more WFO to come. Hammer on that archive.
WFO! The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
I love WFO Radio.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, engine builders, Total Seal piston rings are the leader in ring seal technology, and they go out of their way to help their customers and will make custom sets for any specific piston you might have. Customer service, top notch. Made in America? Absolutely. They're located in Phoenix, Arizona, and they've got everything it takes to develop the world's best piston rings. Give them a call at 800-874-2753 or go to TotalSeal.com. You're working in the shop, you've got spills, you've spilled oil, it's everywhere. What are you going to do? I know what you're going to do, but that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to go to magicdryus.com and order the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association, Magic Dry. It's lighter, it absorbs more, it's better for the environment. It's made out of coconut. It's made in America. magicdryus.com. They've got spill kits that include everything you need for a regular, normal household spill, all the way up to a large industrial spill. We always say, if you've got a cat, get Cat Spot. If you've got a shop, if you've got a factory, if you've got a spill, call Magic Dry. That's magicdryus.com. Attention adrenaline junkies, Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure is calling you. Rides available for the 2020 season. Go to frankhawley.com. They're coming to a track near you. It makes a great gift, and you know the holidays are coming, whether it be licensing for super comp, super gas, all the way up to top alcohol, they can do it. But if you're a drag racing fan and you've always imagined what it might be like to drive a dragster, to accelerate 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and run 10s in the quarter mile, give them a call. 866-480-7223, frankhawley.com, the Dragster Adventure, and tell them you heard it on WFO.
Hey, WFO Universe. Want something for free? Send a self-addressed stamped envelope with plenty of postage, and we'll load it up with free WFO stickers. That's right, I said free. Send your envelope, care of Castello Media /WFO stickers to P.O. Box 848353, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33084. Do it now.
This is WFO Radio.